Shri Mataji. Welcome, welcome to the Blossoming Children. This is a channel created for parents, for yogis, and who want to help their children grow up in Sahaj values. And it's just our way of sharing different perspectives from different parents. And we're just all here learning and sharing together. Today, I'm delighted to have a very dear friend of mine joining us. She has been in Sahaj Yoga for past many decades. She was very fortunate to spend a lot of time with Shri Mataji. And we are so excited to learn from her and her reflections of the time that she was with Shri Mataji. Please join me in welcoming Felicity. Welcome,
Hi,
Felicity. So happy you're here.
thank you for having me.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Felicity Payment. I was born in London. I came into Saj Yoga. I got my realization in India in 1979, and I came into Saj Yoga in London, where I was in the early years. There were very few of us at that time. And then in 82, I got married in Saj Yoga in India to my husband, Richard. And we then went to live in Canada, where we were for nearly 36 years before returning to England, where we are happily living a more retired life now. We had 5 children altogether. We had twins at the bottom. So anyone who has twins out there, lots of love for you. It's very challenging in the first year,
Yes.
but a big blessing in all overall, of course. Yeah, so that's a bit about me.
And your children range from youngest being how old, and the oldest being how old?
So now my eldest son is 38, daughter 36, son 28, twins are 24, and we have 6 grandchildren, a new
Wow.
addition. No, 5, sorry, 5 grandchildren.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
very exciting indeed.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I just came back from Canada, where I spent 2 months with my daughter, and it was so interesting to see her parenting inside yoga, and how it's different, how she's had to change the way she parents, because the children being born now are also different. It's a different time. It's a different
Sure.
time.
So
So
let's go back to the time when you were with Shri Mataji, and
yes.
you were so fortunate that she gave you advice directly as it relates to children. Will you share some of your reflections with us, please?
So, so a little bit, I wanted to start to share that um, 2 of my very earliest memories, which really touched me very deeply, was when, and I don't remember which came first, but we were we were after one of the couples, one of the first couples who got married in London. And it was a beautiful wedding, and it was such a experience for all of us to actually be part of an Indian style but Sahaj marriage. And we were just, Western, mostly English people. So all of the practices that we now take for granted, Mother was introducing to us, and was a very new experiences, for us. And after the couple had completed the vows and been married, they came to her feet, to in front of her, and they presented a sari, a beautiful new sari, as a gift, which was, I believe, traditional to do. You give a sari. And Shri Mataji was so gracious as always, and kind of went, oh, what do you have to give me a gift for, and then she said, there's nothing you can give me. I don't need anything. And then she paused and she said, except the children. And I went,
Wow.
there's really something, because especially in those early years when we were spending a lot of time in Shri Mataji's presence, and you were very much, for me, overawed by the the holiness, the specialness. When you were in her physical presence, there was no doubt who Shri Mataji was, the way she spoke, how she knew about everything. And to have her say that this was something we could do to help, I just went, whoa. And of this couple, this young woman went on to actually have 7 children,
Wow.
with the record in Saj Yoga. But
Yeah.
yes. And then this also, as I was having this memory this morning, it reminded me of another instance which really was so deep for me. So this must be like late 79, early 80. We were in Shri Mataji's flat in London, in Victoria Gardens. So about 20 of us just sitting at her feet, and she was talking to us. That's how she always did. She would allow us to have time with her, and she would just talk about different things, and just being in her presence, you could feel the vibrations calming you. You could feel yourself cleansing and clearing. You felt safe, you felt light. If there was any problem bothering you, and you knew that you would be able to have, usually you could go to Caxton Hall or to the ashram once a week, and you'd have a chance to be in her presence, and everything would, you
She
just know it's
was.
going to be all right.
Yeah, she was
And
so kind and so gracious with her time. I do
yes,
remember that.
and also it was, we could see, especially that she gave such a lot of time, because she showed us that we were her instruments,
Right.
that she said, I cannot do this alone. I need you to help. I need you to give realization. I need you to work this out. And then on this occasion, suddenly she just started saying, the conversation switched, and she said, you are the foundation stones on which we are building this great vision. And then she said, and I am sending you the children, and they are the ones that are going to change the world.
Wow.
And I will build them a school. I will build you a school where you can send them and raise them in proper Sahaj way. And I just remember going, wow, wow. So I carried this always very much in my heart. And we went to Canada and started a family, and the children came. And so it was quite a challenge in the early years. Suddenly my son was the first Sajogi born in Canada. We had some advice. Some of the Australians had sat with Shri Mataji and specifically asked her questions on raising children, on babies, on feeding, any kind of advice that she could give us. And that was recorded and written down, and it's in one of the books, Raising. Most of it is there, as complete talks, as transcripts.
So, in terms of giving support for their spiritual journey, what would you say when children are little, when they're teenagers, when they're older? How have you supported your children's journey, their spiritual journey? Would you have
So,
some advice to share with others?
so I would say you have to start when they're young, that you want meditation to be part of their daily life. Just as we brush our teeth, we eat our food, having Shri Mataji's pictures in the house, playing music, you want to fill their lives with vibrations. So how do we do that? We do that by meditating together. As parents, we are always meditating. So we don't expect the children to meditate as we do or as long, but we should devote a little time each day that we can sing songs with them. We can wash mother's feet. Even as babies, I would time my children's feeds so they could sit when they were a bit older, having a bottle in their little chair as I'm doing meditation or as I'm washing, so it becomes already a part of their routine. This is not something special that we're doing meditation. This is part of our daily life. So I think that is really helpful. That makes them feel comfortable. When they're little, they can't, or it should be meaningful to them. You know, they can't sit and it's not natural for them to
Right.
sit for silence for, you know, a long period of time. So we learned after the school started, the Sarge school started, we had a culture of songs and things that we would teach. My daughter has a little book with postcards of the deities and also photos of Shri Mataji that correspond to those. And so she will sing songs, they will sing a bhajan, they will say, oh, let's sing to Shri Lakshmi today. And then her daughter will open the book and, oh, here's Shri Lakshmi, you know, to make the connection in that way. So it's all about making meaningful connections.
And joyful and fun. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And some days I noticed, you know, was not such a good day. You know, my elder son, he wasn't going to sit still, you know. So I would just go, okay, we're not going to make a big deal out of this. We'll go outside. We'll go to the park. We'll go to the nature. We'll use the vibrations to,
Yeah.
you know, clear out. Quite early on, I started foot soaking. You know, before, at the point where they could sit happily with their feet and not play too much, not
Right.
splash. And with children, short quality is better than lots of boring dead
Right. And
air, you know.
they clear out so fast. What about teenage years? How did you support them through teenage years and beyond?
So teenage years, it's we did make the effort to send the children to the Sahar schools because Shri Mataji said that the collectivity is important. And I really saw that when our eldest children first went to the school in India. As soon as we made that decision, the vibrations got very strong in the house. Every time we put our attention on it, you could feel the cleansing already had started. Just having a child in the school, having our attention on him in the school, helped us at home, supported us vibrationally. And it gave the children an opportunity to be in a pure environment with children their age. And what I noticed was that it was hard. It was this one, oh, it falls down. This is my grandchildren's artwork. I wanted to share as a nice thing because we're all parents. So
So if they can't go to a Sahaj school, what are some things that you think that can stabilize them and help them?
so what I was trying to say was that the quality, in the school was able to give them a connection to other children who are sajogis, who has kundalinis are awakened, who they can connect to on a deeper level. I noticed that when my children all went to ordinary schools in our local area, as well as going to Sahaj schools, and in the regular schools, they made friends, but it wasn't the same connection inside. As Sajogis, as Born realized, they need to have friends who are also realized souls, who are also within the Sahaj Sangha, because it feeds and supports, just like we need our sisters, we need our brothers. So that's very important for them. And what I discovered when my son came,
Sorry, the dogs.
our family life,
This
when the
is.
and when my son was 14 and he came back from ISPS, and I could see that they so wanted to be with other children, and that's when we started Yuva Shakti in our collective. And what I felt Mother showed me was that it wasn't so much what they were doing together, just the fact of them being together. They just needed to be together. And every holidays we would organize a little seminar, and we would just play light with the Sahaj things. We would have a little meditation in the morning. They love working on each other. They feel better for it. It makes them a very nice connection and a bond. So we would do that. And then during the day, we would just have fun. You know, we would go swimming, we would go boating. The boys would need to have some video game time. And I eventually reconciled that with understanding that this is how boys bond.
I agree with you because I saw that with our daughters too. When they got involved in projects that was Sahaj related, when the Realize America tour happened, and our younger daughter got very involved in it. It was a chance to bond, to have a meaningful relationship to Sahaja Yoga. So I think your point of peer support when they're teenage years is so critical, to see others like you with the same grounding, you know, it's so, so important. So we're almost out of time. Do you have any last words of wisdom to share with any parents listening?
Well, that was so quick.
I know.
Uh, okay, I have a few little notes. Let me just see. Yes, I guess I felt that we all our children are different. They're all different personalities. And it's our job to understand them and to see how we can support, nourish, and balance them. And in a way, I wouldn't say that we teach them. We show them through example, hopefully good example. But I really felt so strongly that these were mother's children, that she is in them. And I wanted them to know that I trusted that mother is in them. And I trusted them if to make decisions, to make, especially as teenagers. And if they make a mistake or something's not right, it's okay. We're there to help support them. Better they make a mistake at home. And maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it's something they need to go through. So I think the most important thing is to communicate, is to have them feel they can trust us. Not, especially when they're teenagers, not to tell them too much what to do, you know, allow them to grow, allow them to work things out, and just have them know that we are there for them. I think the last thing that is also important is that not to worry if they're not meditating every day. They have to make that connection with Shri Mataji themselves. So we would go every week to, we were lucky we had an ashram to go to a collective program. So I knew they were getting cleared out there. I would try to facilitate and encourage that we would have 2 or 3 evening meditations together. You know, you have to be creative, but also when your desire is strong, you just pray to mother, you ask her, how can I work this out? I don't know what to do. You know, so many times I would be just like, I don't know how to do this. And I would just ask mother in my heart. And you don't always get the answer straight away, but then I might be washing the dishes and suddenly I go, oh, I could try this. You know, that might, if you have a pure desire, the answer will come, but you have to be open. It may not be the answer you want, you know, you have to sort of be open.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think our daughters are in their 30s now, and I think that strategy of praying throughout their raising up and really giving the children back to Shri Mataji, they belong to you, guide me, help me, and they're your children. I do remember when they were in high school having a conversation with them and saying, you know, till now you were part of the family and we could bring you this far. But now you have to cross the bridge and you have to develop your own faith and your own relationship with Shri Mataji. You have to want this. I can't make you want a relationship with her. And I remember that so clearly because, like you said, you know, they have to choose to want to connect with Shri Mataji. They have to choose to be wanting this vibration connection and support. They have to want this. So our desire can take them so far, and then their desire takes them beyond the bridge, and then they can settle with Shri Mataji at the other side.
So I think what's important in that, there's 2 things. One is that Shri Mataji said that the challenge for born realized children is that they have to recognize her in this life. We automatically recognize because she gave us realization, but they come in with their realization. They, on the whole, they feel pretty good. You know, most of the time they're fairly balanced. They clear out quickly. So, but this is, they have to make that, they have to have that recognition and make that connection themselves. What can we do to help that? I feel is by providing them with opportunities to experience vibrations deeply. As teenagers, I made every effort possible to take my children to Yuva seminars, to, even when they were too young for Yuva seminars, we would go with the older ones so that they're in a really deep, supportive, vibrational experience. And it was through that that my middle son, who was quite different from the others, and I always wondered, will he take to Sahaja Yoga? Will he connect? And one time we went for a Yuva seminar in Seattle, and I just saw him blossom. It was the right time. And suddenly, vibrationally, he just started to open up and make connections. And then, of course, as you said, the tours, the Yuva tours are kind of like the realize tours. They're not just Yuva tours, but the realize tours are like the equivalent of the India tours that we used to go one with Shri Mataji for that express purpose of clearing and deepening and giving realization. So as parents, I feel, even when I thought we don't have the money to send them, somehow it just, one time my son said, I want to go to the Yuva seminar in England, cross the other side of the world. And I just went, okay, you've got that desire, we have to make it happen. And when you decide yourself, I don't know how, but we're going to make this happen, somehow the money comes and it works out. And I think those are the two key things, is providing them with the vibrational support. And if they can't go to the schools, the schools don't work for everybody. As teenagers, the children have different personalities, and some children do better there than others. It's not a perfect place. They never were, I realized, meant to be a perfect place. They were meant to be, in some ways, training grounds for the children to grow strong, in the same way that, we did with our Sahaj experiences. But just being alert, I think being alert to what they need, and because your attention as the parent is, what can I give them? What can I do? And also, but to relax and to enjoy them.
Yes.
And I felt such a blessing. Shri Mataji said to me once, we were at the airport, one of those beautiful times, going to greet her. And she was coming in and saying hello to everyone. And then she saw me and she said, Felicity, I knew the children would work it out. So be prepared that the children will make changes in you, that they will balance you, and they will also, they will shake your conditionings and your ideas. And I think we all have ideas of what we think the perfect child or the perfect Sahajogi should be. And then when they went off to India school, I went, whoa, okay, they're not quite, my idea was not actually the way it's meant to be. So we have to always be open and prepared. We will change, they will change. It's a journey that we are all in together.
Lovely, lovely. We could continue talking. This is such a delightful conversation. So for anybody watching and listening, please like and share and subscribe to the channel so that, you can reach other yogi parents. And again, this is just different parents sharing their perspective. Nobody's the expert. We're just sharing what we did and providing support for the others. If you have any comments or questions, please do respond to the video. We are checking them and we are responding. And if you have any questions, we can further this conversation. Anytime you reflect on the time with Shri Mataji, it's very hard to stop talking because it just envelopes you with love and joy and vibrations, and you want to keep remembering the time with her. Thank you, Felicity, for making the time. Thank you for sharing your reflections, and thank you for being an inspiration to other mothers. All right. Bye for now. Jai Shri Mataji.